Heal to feel. Let's start this journey together.
Do you know how I told you that my steamer, Seth, I think as soon as I got here was like, "Where's your steamer basket case?" I see you're going high quiet luxury again today with your nesting baskets of, because
It,
they're nesting because one goes inside of another and another.
and MJ brought a basket as her purse.
I don't understand why no one knows that this is a white interior means that you can see everything.
There's also like a brownish.
Oh,
If
that's
you,
probably
You
coffee.
should go take it to a bag cleaner.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's welcome Reza.
Thank
Reza
you.
Farahan to the show, guys. Welcome to Heal to Feel.
Thank you, Leah.
Hi,
Thank
So
you,
happy to
Nurse.
have
Thank you
you.
for coming.
I
So
got
happy
my
to be here.
two Shahs of Sunset, King and Queen over here.
Hmm.
But I think all of you guys have, obviously, a lot of you have seen their incredible show over the years, but we haven't. I know that for me, a lot of these reality stars, we don't really get to see like the depth and like understand their background and where they came from. So that's kind of, obviously we'll touch on,
Yeah.
some of the more updated stuff. But today I also want to go into more of who Reza is.
Let's
Hmm.
go. My
Yeah.
favorite subject.
So I was reading that you came from Iran on a vacation at what, 4 years old?
3.5.
3.5. So
My-
tell us what happened.
So my mom's youngest sister, Khale Shahla, and her husband and their son moved to America, and we were helping them get settled here. And then there was some uprisings in Iran, and everyone back home was like, why don't you guys just stay and enjoy the States until things cool down?
What year was this?
This was 1977, the end of 77. And then into 1978, things were getting worse. There were strikes. The prime minister kept changing. And then ultimately in 79 was the Islamic Revolution, and we never went back. So my mom, literally, her wedding ring was in a safe deposit box. And she lived her whole life like in America without her ring, and she got it back after the divorce when she went back to Iran when her mom was on her deathbed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk us through. So now you're 3.5. You're
Yeah.
in LA. You came
Yes.
to LA. Okay.
Yeah.
And what did you guys like? Did you have money to buy a house or rent an apartment?
So my dad had some money.
Okay.
And things were going crazy. My aunt and her husband, I had another aunt, Khala Nahid, who lived in Iran, and they lived in an apartment, and my parents had a beautiful house. So immediately they put a tenant in their apartment and moved into our house so the house wouldn't get taken away. And my dad had a little bit of money, and so we ended up buying a house in Beverly Hills.
And what about all your belongings? Because you never went back. You
Never
just
went
left
back.
everything there?
Left everything there.
And what'd you guys do with that? Did someone
So my mom, her house was full of, my dad was an antiques dealer, like antique Persian carpets and stuff like that. So her house was immaculate. When she went back to Iran, when her mom was on her deathbed, and she went to the house that her sister lived in for free for like 30 years, she's like, where's all my stuff? She's like, well, in 85, there was a fire. In 87, there was a flood. In 91, there was rats. So then she went to her niece's house, and she sees her chandelier. She sees all her paintings, and everything she ever owned was gifted to her niece by her sister.
Oh, wow.
So all of our possessions kind of were passed down to other family members.
So when you came here, did anyone in your family know English?
No English.
Okay.
So I love that you're asking me that question, because my dad is now deceased, and I have so much respect for him, because I think what would happen to me if someone picked me and Adam up and dropped us off in China?
Yeah.
Would I be able to do the things and accomplish what my dad accomplished, having no language skills, knowing nobody, and being dropped in a foreign land and having to start from scratch? He killed the game. I wanted for nothing ever in my entire life. I never flew coach with my parents. We went all around the world. Maris and I had matching convertible BMWs when we were 16 years old.
Chrome 5-star Fittipaldi rims, drop
Chrome
top,
5-star Fittipaldi rims. Like
straight
it
from
was
Netta. Shout out to BMW Beverly Hills.
it was no joke. So he literally killed the game. But on the flip side, I'm in nursery school
Yeah.
and it's like nap time. Mind you, the hostage crisis was now happening. And I'm like, the lady's like, okay, it's nap time. I'm like, nap time? Don't you know the crazy man with the beard and the turban is holding hostages? How am I taking a fucking nap? They're hanging people from cranes back home.
And you're so little and you knew all this stuff.
Because every day we would watch Walter Cronkite on the news counting down the hostages who were in captivity for 444 days. So now, for me, it's like PTSD with what's going on with Iran and Israel and the hostages and everything. It's like playing all over again because my mom would call Iran back in the day and they'd be like, when are you coming home? And I'm like, home? They're hanging people from cranes.
Yeah.
There's white bearded men in turbans who are like killing people and like, home. This is home now. I don't want to go back to that hellhole where they're,
Doing that. So were you raised, what religion? Were you Jewish?
So
Or half?
my dad is Jewish
Okay.
and my mom is Muslim.
Okay.
And like my mom is not very religious. She's much more spiritual. And my dad wanted to marry my mom. So his family, who was much more religious, they were like, who's this goy bitch you want to marry? Like, this is not okay. So there was a lot of East Coast, West Coast rivalry.
Yeah.
And just religion wise, so the audience can understand something very complicated. In Judaism,
The
your
mom.
mother has to be Jewish.
I was going to say there's
In Islam,
father.
your father has to
So
be
they were
Muslim.
switched.
So I basically was in a weird gray area. And then on top of that, by the time I hit my adolescence and puberty, I knew I was gay. So I was like a unicorn on an island by myself, thinking no one's going to love me. I'm going to have to like find my own tribe because, amongst the family, there's already beef and factions and rivalry. And then thinking I'm going to have to tell these people I'm gay, everyone's going to hate me and want me dead.
So let me ask you first, when did you know? So as you grow up, first of
Yeah.
all, do you have any siblings?
I have one sibling,
Sister or
a
brother?
sister. She's 8 years older. And we were created by the same parents, but you couldn't find two more opposite
Do you know
human
her?
beings on planet Earth.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like my brothers. That's so funny. That's like my children too. But so she came, you were like 3 and she's 11 at
Yes.
this point.
Yes.
So she really probably has more memories. Are you guys close today?
I love her very much, and we're not as close as I would like us to be, but she's so much older that she had, in Middle Eastern cultures, you have to respect your elders. So it was much more of a she's here and I'm here kind of a relationship growing up.
Do you
And
feel like
so
you felt more like an only child at times because she was so much older?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're 3, you go through nursery school.
Yeah.
Now, are you getting assimilated? You're learning English. And at 3, did you feel like I feel different to all these children?
Hello, my parents are picking me up at nursery school, and the white people's parents are
Mercedes.
looking at my parents like, motherfucker, are you guys related to the people that are holding our hostages? Like they were getting side-eyed
Really?
100%. And we became insular. Like
Were there not a lot of Persians at the time in LA? Because
there
now
were
there's
a
a
lot.
ton.
There
were.
Thank God I grew up in Beverly Hills because our neighbor to the north of us was Persian. Our grocers were Persian. Our doctors were Persian.
Yeah.
The car dealer was Persian. I had not one non-Persian person in my life until I moved to San Francisco for college.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
I did not associate with non-Persians. It just was not.
Yeah, you were just around
Which
them.
it's kind of funny because I didn't have any Persians in my life where I grew up
Well,
until
you're
I
like
came
from
to
like
LA.
Idaho
Falls
or
Church,
God knows
Virginia,
Yeah.
to be exact.
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
random. Okay, so then as you grow up, now you're starting to assimilate.
Yes.
When do you know internally that you're gay?
So I'm starting to assimilate, but I'm like that little kid that's going to like the gift shop, and they used to have these little license plates that said California. They were yay big,
Yeah.
and they would say Sally
Oh,
or
yeah.
John. And
Same.
I would
Yeah.
spin that motherfucking carousel, and never could I find Reza.
Same. I
Never. It
feel
was
you.
so annoying. So yes, I'm trying to assimilate, but everyone around you is trying to let you know, like, bitch, you may be here and you may be trying to assimilate, but you look like you look like them, so you're suspect to us. You know, like it was
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
hard trying to assimilate. Like by the time people were forgetting the hostage crisis, 9/11 happened,
Oh,
and we were lumped
Jesus.
into like, you know, just traveling is difficult.
You know what's kind of crazy to me? I mean, you didn't have this secure upbringing, right? Like you have all these things flying at you. You're in another country. You're telling them like, you know, you're this, you're that, you're not this, you're not that. Like that can raise a very insecure person. What
Insecure.
baffles me is you come across with a very true sense of self and very confident.
Can I tell you the biggest fear I had my whole life growing up when I had the Islamic passport was knowing that if you commit a felony in the United States of America, they can deport you back to the country of your origin. So imagine now I know I'm gay. I My biggest fear growing up, I'm gonna tell you my big like this is in my book.
Deportation.
No one knows this. I used to have this recurring nightmare because I grew up during the AIDS epidemic. Like the time of MTV Real World, Pedro Zamora, he was gay and on the Real World, and you found out he contracted HIV, and then he had full-blown AIDS, and then he died. So my biggest fear, Iran and AIDS. So I had this nightmare that somehow I wake up in Iran. I don't know how I got there. And I'm in a hospital, and they tell me, You're dying of full blown AIDS. You have
But
AIDS
you
and you're
also robbed a
dying.
bank,
You're dying of full blown
and now
AIDS.
you're getting deported.
No, I'm already in Iran. I don't know
Oh.
how
You're
I
dying
got
of
there.
AIDS,
Oh.
and
then
you're a
they
hostage.
And they tell me, they go, oh, by the way, when you moved to America, they fucked up on translating because they didn't have computers back then. I had a Persian birth certificate. They're like, they fucked up on transcribing your passport and your birth certificate. You're actually not a Leo, you're a Virgo.
No
So I'm
way.
walking around Iran
Look at that
dying of
part.
full-blown AIDS. And like the only thing of my identity that like no one could take away from me was being a Leo. They fucking took that away. And I'm walking around dying, but the only thing I was upset about was that I'm not a Leo anymore. Like something I was so proud of, that I felt like even if like you don't accept me as a Jew, you don't accept me as Muslim, you don't accept me as XYZ anything, at least I'm amongst the Leos. They won't kick me out. I was born on August 5th. I'm a Leo. And in the dream, like that was taken away from me too. So I belonged in no groups. Like
And a
no
Leo-
one would accept me.
Also, let's point out the Leo is the king of the jungle.
No, you're
it's the
so-
royal
I mean,
sign.
if any,
it is the all
I
the
would predict
things.
you were a Leo. You
You
are like
can.
you encompass everything.
100%.
You are the exact
Yeah.
opposite of a Virgo because all my best friends are Virgos.
Yeah.
So
And you don't
Um,
have Cancer energy.
but
You don't have
I'm a
Capricorn
Cancer.
energy.
Cancers
you don't
and
have
Leos get along.
Very much
Aquarius.
so.
Yeah, but
Uh,
you don't. You definitely are not the other signs. Like you can tell.
No, he's all Leo, but it still baffles me. Where did you get this
My mom.
confidence and sense of
My
self?
mom.
What would she instill in you?
Growing up, literally, she would be like, I love you. You're the greatest. You can do anything you want in life. Go anywhere. Like she drilled
Drilled that
it
in.
into my head that I could be anyone, do anything, go anywhere, to the point where, Leah, when I was single and in my early 30s, I had a date with this Persian doctor, and she was so excited. So we go to
She.
my mom.
Oh,
She's
oh.
like, I'm single.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
tell
yeah.
my mom I have a date with this Persian doctor.
Yeah.
We go to Coral Tree Cafe on San Vicente in Brentwood, and she's like, call me after the date. So I call her up, and she's like, how'd the date go? I was like, well, not attracted to him. She's like, why not? I was like, well, he was kind of like chunky. He had a thick Persian accent, sounded like he got here from Iran yesterday. He was wearing True Religion jeans with the white stitching and like this embroidered shirt.
Chrome heart
So
sunglasses.
she goes, well, at least he's a doctor. What the hell are you? I go, what the hell am I? Bitch, you told me I'm the shit. Maybe if you had told me I was nothing, I'd be into him and I'd want to marry him. You told me I was the shit. It's your fault I don't like the fucking doctor.
That is amazing. But when did you come out to your family? Did they know already? Did they accept it?
So when I was 21, I came home one night and I was very inebriated. And I had like, there were a lot of perks in my life and in my household, but my mom was a worrier and I had to be home. So I'd gone out that night and I'm 21 and I get home by the grace of God. I don't know how I got home, but I got home and I stripped my clothes off. I went in the bathroom and I started throwing up and I passed out on the black granite in the bathroom
From being too drunk?
from being too
Okay.
drunk. This bitch calls my dad, who she's divorcing, my sister, who didn't live there, my aunt and uncle, and 911. And I just remember opening my eyes. I couldn't even lift my head. I could only see from the knee down, but I was counting, and there were a lot of feet and calves, like I could see. The next morning, she called me into the kitchen and she straight up, she goes, Reza, are you a gay? She asked me if I was a gay. And I don't know where I summoned the courage to tell her, but in that moment, I was thinking I either have to lie for the rest of
Yeah.
my life or I have to tell her right now. And I don't know where I mustered the fucking strength, but I told her and she started bawling. And as if I set a timer for 90 seconds, she started crying. She's like, they tricked you. Your dad wasn't around enough when you were growing up. I saw an episode of Oprah where these people found Jesus Christ as their savior and he cured them. And she snapped out of it. She's like, you know what? I'm never going to get married again. You're my one and only son. I love you more than anything on this earth. And until the day I die, I have your back. And
Wow.
from that moment on, she was like a different person. She worked on herself.
That's amazing.
She loves my husband. She loved my previous ex and
How old were you when you knew you were gay? How long did you
adolescence.
really? And you held
Adolescence.
on to
Younger.
that for like 10 years.
Well, here's the thing. There was no internet, there were no computers. When I thought I was gay, I thought I was the only human on earth that was gay. I thought God fell asleep when I was coming through the conveyor belt of life and he like forgot to press a button or something.
What year is this now?
This is 1980 something.
Yeah, this is still when people were still like, I'm in the closet. It's just so sad. Like,
Yeah.
People
I
still
thought I
are.
was the only one.
Still, no, they
People
still
still are.
are, but now like it's so like it's just so dumb. The whole thing was so dumb, but that's the society, that we
Well,
lived in. But
a lot of my Persian Jewish friends in the religious parts of New York, they think that they still have to follow the tradition.
it's
It's
crazy.
it's
Do you,
really bad.
do you think part of your mom's thing was, I mean, obviously then it was back different, but also like, oh, is he gonna have children? Am I not gonna have grandchildren? Did that go through her head?
I think, there was some of that, and my sister didn't get married until very late. So she was definitely like, what the F?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, because I even remember Jeff said, like, was it his grandma? I'm like, how did they take it? And he's like, they just didn't think I could have kids. But then, this is also back then. You're not thinking there's ways to have children as a gay couple if we
totally.
want to. And so he said the minute, I think it was his grandmother realized, like, oh, I can have grandchildren, I'm good now, So,
Yeah.
but I understand there's also the religion and the culture and what you grow up learning. In Iran, you can't, like, how do they don't
They
accept.
stone people to
Yeah.
death. They bury you until
Mhm.
your head, and then there's certain size rocks. They can't be too big because you'll die too quickly. There's a certain size of rock they use to throw at you. And when I was growing up, there was a billboard above the Santa Palm Car Wash on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood for a cruise line. And it was like two gay men like on a floaty with their arms around each other. And before I came out, my uncle, who's now no longer alive, he was here from Spain and he saw that billboard and he was like, "That's disgusting. They should all be rounded up and put on an island somewhere." And he said this in front of my family and I was like 15 or 16 at the time and I knew I was gay and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm going to have to keep this secret because if he
Yeah.
thinks that, they all must think it."
So when you cross over, because we're gonna have her in a couple weeks, Anita, she had a near-death experience, but she came from an Indian family, and dad was like this strict, like Indian, like culture, everything, and they had a horrible relationship. But when she had her near-death experience, crossed over, saw her father, they have a very apparently like godlike perspective, and he said to her, "I am so sorry. Just understand, like, I was there to play a role because I was confined by my culture and my belief system." So just from there, like they can see where they went wrong. It's all like a learning experience.
So I had the privilege of having a reading by the Hollywood medium Tyler
Yeah.
Henry, and I wanted to know one thing. And the producer said, if you have photos or objects that belong to the people that you want to connect with, bring those in. So I said to my mom, "Do you know where there are any pictures of my dad's dad, who was very Jewish?" And she couldn't find any pictures, but she gave me some things from her dad. And so all I wanted to know was if my dad's dad loved me and was proud of me. And so I go to him and he literally goes, I hand him some shit from my mom's dad. He goes, "Your dad's dad is here with his two brothers and he wants you to know that he loves you very much and he's very proud of you." And I
Oh,
literally started bawling
yeah.
and no one knew. No one knew. I didn't tell production. The only person I told was my mom because I wanted a photo.
It's
And
very real. It's very we have an our in-house medium, best I've ever seen, Shinka. We'll set up a reading with you, but she just it's such a beautiful gift because people that are here, they don't a lot of people don't realize that consciousness never dies. And when they cross over, they do see it from such a different perspective. And they have these messages that really help people. Yeah, it doesn't bring them back and you still miss them, but they're still very much alive and they deliver messages that literally like change people's lives. Like just hearing, "Oh my god, they are proud of me." Maybe they didn't say that when they were here.
yeah. So once I came out to my mom and I realized the cat was out of the bag and there was no turning back, I did something that what season was Asa's art installation where
Where
Golnessa
Golnessa had the hair dye?
she attacked Adam?
Yeah,
When I did the roses?
that that would have been
5?
I'm thinking if it was 5 or 6
No, was
because
it 6 was
it couldn't
Israel.
so it
5,
had to be 5.
yeah, because we went to
It had to
Belize.
be 5, yeah.
Okay, so season 5 of Shahs of Sunset, I wrote these letters from Golnessa, and in the letters, I wrote to each castmate everything Golnessa had done, I had apologized on her behalf. So when I came out to my mom and I knew I was going to have to continue coming out, I wrote fuck you letters to each person that I was going to come out to just in case shit went south and they didn't like accept me.
Wow.
I wrote these fuck you letters like, "You
Wow.
motherfucker, you did X, Y, and Z. You stole from this person, you lied and cheated, and you did all these things," just to like protect myself. I never had to give not one of those
Wow.
letters out.
That's
I
amazing.
wrote them just in case they were like, "Ooh, you're nasty, you're gay, we don't love you anymore." But
Wow.
I never experienced that in my life,
That's
not one
amazing.
time.
That's amazing.
Do you feel like when you're looking back on that 15-year-old that you heard that uncle comment, how did you feel after, like today or looking back on it?
So I look back on it thinking he's ignorant, he didn't know better, and it had nothing to do with me. He didn't even know I was gay. He was just
It's his
being
belief, it's what was ingrained into it, right? It's like that's
the hate that he was taught or he absorbed, or it was his issue and it had nothing to do with me. And I don't walk around with it. Like there's a slur for Middle Eastern people. And people have said it to me before, and it doesn't resonate with me. I don't know why. It doesn't land. Like, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't have anything to do
Well,
with
because you
me.
have a strong sense of self, and listen to
Oh,
my voice.
you want water?
Yeah. And it's just, oh, I'm good. And that it's just kind of like whatever's ingrained. It's whatever has been taught. But that's like thank you. That's like very kind of like an enlightened view. That's probably like from
I
therapy
I've
Well, it's
been going to
easy.
therapy since I
Yeah.
was 18 years old,
Yeah.
and I still go once a week.
Amazing.
I've had 2 therapists. One passed away, Raylene Goldtraub, may
You
God
killed her?
she was
It's like, I can't take this trauma.
she was older when I started going to her, but I'm so grateful that I've had amazing therapists. I'm on number 2 now, and I look forward to seeing her,
I love
and
that.
it's amazing.
When did your dad pass away? How old were you? And had you come out yet?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
How did he and how old were you?
Just a couple of years ago.
He
Unfortunately,
passed in 2023.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't take it as well. Like, I heard he went through some difficulties, but he also came around. Like, it was a very short amount of time. He came around to the point where, like, one of my very first boyfriends and I, when he divorced my mom and moved to New York, he lived in this really gorgeous 1-bedroom condo on the Upper East Side. And we stayed with him. We stayed in his bedroom and he slept on the couch.
you
So,
and Dennis?
huh?
You and Dennis?
No, me and Brent.
Oh my God.
Brad. Okay, so now you get into high school.
Yeah.
When do you guys meet?
At a Persian house party.
How old were you guys?
We're 15-ish.
Oh, so you got dropped off by mom and dad, or did you?
I mean, my dad would have definitely dropped me off.
Okay, so you met.
He was already there, so we didn't talk before the party. We met at Neda Dardashi's party.
Yeah.
She was the house on Doheny in the flats that had a lot of parties.
A lot of
Her
parties.
dad, what was he, like a computer guy or a car dealer? She was divorced, right?
Yeah.
So therefore the mom was not there to hover and helicopter, and she had a lot of house parties with
and a lot
alcohol.
of freedom.
Yeah.
A lot of freedom.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it love at first sight when you guys met? Like, did you like each other? Did you not like each other?
Yeah, there was definitely no beef. It was
Yeah.
never
No,
anything.
it was
It was love at first sight for
Did
sure.
you guys become like very close right
very
away?
close.
Right away.
Very close right away.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, and
Well, so for me to come to California was like a foreign place. It was like a different planet, even though a lot of family was already here and I spent summers here. It didn't matter. Coming out here and going to school and acclimating to West Coast culture was such a stark difference. And it was the best way I can summarize it is I walked into the bathrooms in high school and saw graffiti in Farsi. And I was like, wow, bitch, you are not Dorothy, you ain't
You're
in
not in
Kansas
Kansas
anymore.
anymore.
Yeah. But Persians are very clannish. Americans and Beverly are still, it was very much like the movie Clueless in real life.
But she had white friends in high school, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, she had non-Persian friends.
where'd you guys go? Beverly?
Yeah.
And it was very hard to break into either.
Well, it's because her middle name's Christine that I
Yeah.
just found out. I'm like, where did that come from?
Totally.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
so I think that when I met people, whether they were Persian or the white girls, I still didn't feel connected to the either person. I felt very connected with Reza because you can meet people and make new friends, and like I would go home and I'd be like, not a vibe, not a match, not really like someone that I was really felt connected to for various reasons. They were judgmental, very secretive, closed off, so and hypocritical. At the end of the day, like, you wanna connect with someone that you're becoming friends with, but they will do the things that they are judging you for behind closed doors all along. So for you to find that out as a friend trying to make your way around, you're like, "Fuck, this is not a match."
But in high school, what I started experiencing was you have these friends, these Persian girls that are very open and real sweet. And then you graduate high school and they marry a husband who's Persian and Jewish and 10 years older than them. They all of a sudden adopt all the values of this man that they're marrying
That's how
into,
you
and they
marry well.
become
Right.
closed off to like, oh, I have this friend and he's gay now. Like, we don't fucks with him anymore because, like,
Because they're the older generation.
totally.
Yeah.
And it was very strange for me transitioning from high school to young adulthood, seeing all of these people who I considered like close friends all of a sudden become very conservative and marrying into like really closed off Persian communities that were not open to anyone unless they were Persian and Jewish and
Conforming.
wealthy and lived north of Santa Monica Boulevard in the flats
Had to
and
fit into a certain box, and that's what you
100%.
do. Would you
Just the
Yes.
say
same.
those girlfriends are happy or
Oh, well, I mean, it depends though, because first of all, they ended up envying us because we kept on living,
Right.
right? So they met someone to take care of them, and they didn't really even experience necessarily university campus life, any of the things that most people are lucky if they get to do in their early mid 20s. And then once they started having the kids and they realized how bored, they became very bored,
That's what I'm
unfulfilled
saying.
housewives.
Yeah.
And then when Shaw's came around, we were, like, celebrated very much. Oh my god.
No, in the beginning, before it came out, we were villains in the
Yeah. So
community.
what that's what I
Yeah.
want to get into next.
Interior is a first of its kind multifunctional juice developed by scientists with over 30 years of research in chronic inflammation, metabolic health, and functional food tech. Each bottle contains a proprietary bioactive complex of superfoods, antioxidants, and phytonutrients that support gut health, metabolism, and immunity, all while tasting like something you'd actually want to drink every day. Whether you're feeling off, stressed, or just want to feel better, make Interior your new daily ritual and initiate a positive chain reaction in your body. Interior is available exclusively online at drinkinterior.com. And for a 20% discount, use code LIAT20. That's drinkinterior.com. Your cells will thank you.
How do you guys get on this show? How does this come about? How old are you?
Oh.
Okay,
Oh my god,
so
I love this story.
Maris calls me and she's like, "Hey, do you remember so and so?" And she's like telling me, like, "Do you remember this girl Marissa?" And I'm like, "Oh, I
How old are
don't."
you at this time?
I'm 36.
Okay.
And she's like, "Do you remember Marissa? She's got this boyfriend. His name is Jesse. He's coming over. He wants to launch this reality show. And Sammy's coming over, and my mom's coming over, and we're going to do wine and blah, blah." And I'm like thinking, nothing is gonna come of the reality show stuff, but like Sammy's coming, like all these people are coming over, and I'll get to see her and drink wine and hang out. And so Jesse shows up, the boyfriend of Marissa, who works for Ryan Seacrest Productions, and I just turn it on. And he sees like the dynamic that she and I have and the rapport, and we're bouncing off of one another. And he said, "Walk me to my car," when he was leaving. So I end up leaving with him, and he's like, "Listen, if I'm gonna sell a show about Middle Easterners to American TV, I need the funny gay guy to be on. You need to like commit that you're gonna do this." And
Like,
I'm,
being out?
huh?
Like, he wanted to make sure you were gonna be out
No,
because
no, he wanted to make sure that
you're
I
I
would
You're
do
gonna
the
in.
be the star of
show.
the show.
He wanted me to be on the show because, like, at that time, Middle Easterners were still,
Ooh,
stereotyped.
right.
And even us, when they were trying to sell Shaw's, the Arab Spring was happening. We were killing Osama, and they were doing focus groups telling us, "We're trying to figure out if Americans are ready for Middle
Right.
Easterners on TV." This
Yeah.
is shit
Very
we
And
were
what
true.
year is this now?
2011,
Wow. So
2010,
and there weren't that many reality shows.
not then.
Not like how it is now.
No. And so he said, "Well, you gotta promise me you'll do it." And I'm like, "Okay, sure, buddy, I'll do it," like, thinking it's not gonna go anywhere. And then he hit us up and he's like, "Listen, I got a little money to shoot a sizzle reel. We're gonna just kamikaze style shoot some shit on Rodeo Drive." So Maris and I grabbed bags that we had from like Hermes and Louis and Gucci and shit, and we're walking with no permits, shooting like a sizzle
Like Pretty
reel.
Woman breakfast, walking down the street holding her.
Yeah, they shot a sizzle reel, and he stayed in touch with us, and he kept, like, hitting me up and, like, giving updates and progress reports, and then it seemed like at one point, they reshuffled the cast, and they introduced us to a few other people.
And you guys knew nobody else.
We did.
Sammy.
We knew Sammy,
Oh, I remember him from the show.
and
I don't remember who else we would have.
Layla knowing, Mike,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Anita came to the party
There
at
were a lot of
Jesse's.
people that didn't make the final cut, but we still when we met Mike, Sammy had already known him. Then Asa had already known Mike. Then Golnessa and Layla, they already knew
So
Mike and
everybody knew
Sammy.
3
somebody.
degrees of like,
One.
literally 1 degree of
Yeah.
I remember my
separation.
friend Omid
Max.
was on that show for like
Kalantari?
yeah,
Yeah,
You're
and
friends with him?
back in the day, I haven't talked to him in a long time, but yeah.
He's fantastic. He just had a baby.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It's crazy he's with my friend right now. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, all the Persians kind of knew each other.
totally. And so he stayed in touch with us, and he sold it and didn't ever get enough credit for being the person who actually was the reason and the catalyst for the show coming to
That's incredible.
fruition.
So before you guys get this show, you're just going about your regular life. What are
Totally.
you doing at this point?
I work at DBL, and it became Sotheby's. Maris worked there
Real
with
estate.
me. We were in real estate, doing very well. It was
Very,
like
very well.
it was the
The
early
market
2000s. We would
yeah.
have offer forms in the car because when you went somewhere, if you weren't ready to write an offer, there was going to be
It was
15
almost
other.
just like
By
you're
the
an order
way
taker. You didn't have
Totally.
that's
We
By the
didn't have
way,
to do
yeah.
I
anything.
can't believe we didn't talk about this, but we just saw Tyler at the party. Do you
Yeah.
remember?
T-
So,
My old business partner.
yeah. Did you see him?
Yeah, of course.
Is that a
Yeah.
you show that?
He looks good though. He's
Yeah.
older.
I don't know. Anyway,
So wait,
so just
yeah,
to
tell
take you
us what
back.
happened.
So, it's the early 2000s and we are very successful. However, I have to say, he was licensed, he was already working as a real estate agent. He had a partner named Tyler. I wanted to get my license, and my dad was the one who was like, "Get your license so that I'll use you for these flips." So I would jump in the back of their car, and they would be tearing through Brokers Open House 11 to 2 every Tuesday. The real estate offices actually would go on a caravan. That's why it's called Caravan. And the two of them, Tyler and Reza, would practically, at this point, you weren't partnered up yet. We would drive by a house in Jeff's neighborhood, and I'll never forget this. They were both sending the property to their clients,
Ugh,
and it was literally going to be a
may
race
the best
to
man win.
yes, to which one is going to submit the offer faster. They're going to be competing against each other. It was amazing, and then yeah, and then eventually
And
we
then now
joined.
Shaw's is launched. You get
Yeah.
on the show. Are you
Yeah.
guys thinking, holy shit, like our whole life is gonna change? Or what are you
No.
thinking at this point?
I wasn't thinking anything because, first of all, when you start a reality show, the misconception is that there's millions of dollars
No.
flowing in your direction, which is not the
Well,
case at all whatsoever
because
because
people equate being on
Some-
TV with you must be a multimillionaire.
totally, but you're
Well-
not established, so the network doesn't feel inclined to give you a lot of money or any money, and they think to themselves, if you don't do it, there's 40 other people in line that are willing to do it
Just to be on TV.
just to be on TV. So the money wasn't great. So for me, I have to say, I had an ulterior motive because now I'm already out. I'm 36 years old. Everyone in my life loves me, is proud of me, they support me. So I'm thinking to myself, if I have 5 or 15 minutes of fame, if I can be on this TV screen and keep other Middle Eastern kids, some of whom I knew that aren't here anymore because they took their own lives, like there are people that I ran around with that killed themselves because their families didn't love or accept them, or there was other underlying issues. If I can be on TV for 5 minutes and show the world, look, my friends support me, my family loves me, like it does get better. That was my thinking. I wasn't thinking we were gonna fucking kill the game and have 9 seasons
It's
of a
incredible.
reality show, which is unheard of
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
show that wasn't a franchise or didn't have a lead in like Lisa Vanderpump for the Vanderpump Rules people. There was
And
nothing.
there was no social media really,
Nothing. There was
right?
Twitter. There was
Twitter.
no
There
Instagram.
was Twitter.
There
Oh
was
my
Yeah.
Twitter.
god.
MySpace?
We would live tweet.
Did we have
D
Instagram yet?
No.
Facebook only, maybe.
Facebook,
Yeah.
Wow.
maybe,
Only
and
Facebook. No
Twitter.
Instagram yet because I
No.
remember
So what
the day that we downloaded the app, we were all like getting like like 500 followers, but then Swim Jure got 10,000 followers in like the matter of seconds.
That's incredible. So now, when does Shaw start to get really big? Like, when is it like, oh, like this is a new life we're about to live, and you're getting recognized?
We
And
didn't so because we were so green, I'll speak for myself. I was so green and unaware when we were at the height of our fame, there's this oppressive thumb that's always trying to like hold you down so your ego doesn't get big and you don't ask for too much money. So I never realized how big we were until later on. But I would be on the phone with friends and family. I'll never forget my girlfriend Atusa and her husband were in Costa Rica, and she was like, Reza. And the tour guide in Costa Rica was like, Reza? Is that Reza from Shahs of Sunset? And he lost his mind and he ended up taking care of them and comping them and like going all out for them. And I was like, oh shit, like people all over know us. Like
You gotta
that's
g
unbelievable.
once you travel to a country, my mom was in Venice, and she was in a gondola, and she was like, "I got recognized by the gondolier in Venice."
that's
Or my
incredible. But
father-in-law who was on one episode and lives in Oklahoma and is a retired Air Force colonel, went to the Walmart and they were acting like he was a star of the show. They were literally chasing him down. He ended up hitting me up and saying, "Can you like send some photographs or some
So, when doesn't that
swags?"
trip you out when people that are friends of yours or family members and they say autograph? We don't even come from that era.
yeah.
It's very humbling, but I'm also like, "Out of here. Get out of here." Like, what? It's very interesting.
At what season would you say was like the peak? Like, oh, we are, we've made it a little bit
Like
on
What
TV.
season
season
was our
4,
peak?
Yeah.
I think okay, well,
4 or 5,
I think that
4.
the season when Jessica called out Mike for cheating, and it was the first season that Tommy, so it was 5.
No,
Our
I think it was
peak
season 4 because we had the most episodes.
So
no,
basically
no.
midway
No, 5
through.
was the one that we had the most episodes.
Hold on.
I know, because it was Tommy's first and Jessica's last. So it was the one season where and we went to Belize that year.
I remember when Jessica converted. I do remember
What
that
didn't Jessica
scene.
do? Poor thing.
Oh,
She jumped out of a plane. She converted.
poor girl.
She learned how to
Is she
cook.
happy and married
She's
and
incredibly
Yes.
happy. She's
great? That
pregnant.
makes me happy.
No, you
I feel
guys,
like she's
she's
a good girl.
pregnant. She's having a baby. The fact that she could get pregnant again and for the first time was a miracle biologically because she was a survivor of pediatric leukemia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow, that's
So,
incredible.
yeah,
That's so really
it
incredible.
is. And all
I
the years
wouldn't
that
have
she
switched from
tried,
Coke to Pepsi for someone, let alone change my religious beliefs.
Listen, it's a slippery slope because you have to do it because you want to, not because the other person, and
right.
then because you couldn't get resentful. So then you guys, how do you guys, obviously we saw your guys' feuds and everything like that. But you're so close, and now because I've seen, like, I would never, sorry, I love you guys, but I would never wanna do reality TV. It's so scary to me. I feel like every marriage breaks up. It can break up a friendship.
Yeah,
You're seeing people in interviews talk behind your back, and which, by the way, I said this last time, like, it's normal. We all, like, vent to other people, but now you're seeing it, right? And that can create, obviously, destructive relationships just in general. Um I think you guys, I said this last time, you have such a strong, there's like a soul connection between the 2 of you, and
definitely.
you're gonna go through, it's
For
like me
sure.
and
We
my
were
husband,
probably
we met at
married in a
15 and
previous
we've
time.
gone through ups and downs but everyone's like, "Wow, you've really," I'm like, "There's just this soul." Like, I feel like I've lived many lifetimes with him, and there's this comfort, like I'm home even when things are can be up
Yeah.
and down. Do you guys feel like that? Are you in a good place now? Do you feel like that foundation of that soul
Well,
connection?
you might wanna respond to Reza, you might wanna respond to the allegations that I made about you last week, and I just put it on my grid yesterday, was that for me, we're in the best place that we've ever been. Would you like to speak to that? Maybe you don't agree.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
No, you guys
definitely.
have gone through a lot, so let's hear.
Here's the one thing I do wanna say is, once we were both married or we had significant others in our lives, it made it much more complex because there was someone else
That we had to answer to.
involved.
Yeah.
Because I know that for all of the seasons that she and I had together, that we could turn anything around if it was just the 2 of us.
Yeah.
But once there was another person in the mix, it made it much more complicated, and I'm very grateful that we found a road to heal and get back together in spite of having to answer to other people in our lives. I'm very grateful for where we're at today. It would have been very tragic to not be able to circle back and heal and grow and make something beautiful from the pain that we went through
What
because
do
we
you
had
think
such a long history.
what do you think brought you guys to a place to want to do that? Because, there are some people where you're like, "I'm done, that was toxic," but
I watched the Go-Go's documentary, and I've told this to Maris many times. I watched the Go-Go's documentary, and they had a profound effect on me because I grew up listening to their music. And to watch the documentary and to understand that these people that made this music that was so special to me, that they actually hated each other or didn't like each other, was devastating to me. And even at the time when we weren't close, I always wanted myself, Golnessa, and Maris to stay close because Shaw's was so special to me in spite of everything that it did and all the drama that it brought and all the confessional interviews that I had to watch when someone was saying some ratatouille shit about me that I didn't like.
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
I still wanted us to be in a great place. Maybe we would have moments with one another where we would be upset with one another, but when we were in public, I wanted us to have a united front that we love and care about each other in spite of everything. Like, I had a very complicated relationship with my dad, but now that he's not here anymore, I can only remember the beautiful times. It's very hard for me to even recall moments when I wasn't happy with him or I wanted a different outcome. And I want Maris, myself, and Golnessa to maintain our connection, especially she and I. Even take Golnessa out of the mix. She and I have such a beautiful, long tapestry of a story with one another that it would be tragic to like have this woven carpet and then just right at the end before you're done, stop. And it's like, wait, how could you stop weaving this thing that was so beautiful for so long and it's just not done at the
And then it's
end? Like,
cut. Do
makes
you
no
wanna know something
sense.
crazy that you just said tapestry? Because 'Cause we're gonna have Anita, again, the near-death experience. Do you know that they all go in when you cross over, they talk about this room called the tapestry, and they see, like, at how we're all connected and, like, we're each one thread? So she was like, "I even understood why I got bullied in 2nd grade," which I've said this on the story. it's like you're meant everything you do will affect the rest of the tapestry, and yeah, you're right, you guys have your own tapestry within that, so it
Yeah.
would have been tragic. How do you
Well, I think you know what's interesting is that like he said about our spouses. So it's not just us that we also had to have our husbands' backs and through the stuff that was going on. But like when you're watching like Ratatouille and you're seeing and you're it's like right now just listening to Reza, I understand that we are so complicated on the inside. We are governed by so many different experiences that are internal. And so may, I think about like on our way back to each other, a BravoCon. We've had how many? Four BravoCons? And how, like, there was the one where we were a little friendly. There was the one we weren't on speaking terms. There was the one where we passed each other in the in the lobby. There was the moment where we had to walk in together in single file line, sit down and do like watch what happens. Then there was the good watch what happens lives on the BravoCon live stage. And like with us and our history, there's so many thoughts, like, one look from him that could have landed with me that I was like, gave us hope. Then another one could have been like, "Oh, that was shady." It's the way that, like, because I think about how people can have sisters, any kind of long, decades-long feuds that go unresolved because we very much need a way into each other. If you don't have that door latch that's a little loose and one of you has an experience and another one has, then I just feel like because I know how happy I am that we got back to where we are, what about the people that don't open? Like,
it's
don't ever open the
they
door.
say they'll have to deal it
But
That
later, it
tapestry
later,
and
doesn't
they'll
go
the
have you'll
away.
come back the
it
next
doesn't.
lifetime,
Totally.
you
It
The pain
never
have
doesn't go
it
away.
shows
you
up in
have
your
to.
life again
Oh,
over and
yeah,
over again.
Yeah.
yeah.
But one fun fact about Maris that I want to share with your audience is some people can not communicate and think the best. Some people cannot communicate and be neutral. Homegirl, if you're not talking to her,
It's bad.
it's not good.
I
So
I'll
the
stew.
times
I'll stew. It's like you're making a pizza sauce and you're just stirring it
Well,
on
that's
simmer.
what I wanted to ask you guys. During the times you weren't talking, right?
yeah,
And your husbands are against each other and you're like, "Yeah, fuck 'em,
yeah.
whatever." Deep down, when you're laying on that pillow at night, is there a party that's like, "Shoot, like, I actually really deep down miss this person, but
Of
obviously I can't
course.
say it," and there's pride and there's ego, but, like,
No, my
in your
husband
heart, because friendships are just if not harder sometimes than breakups of romantic, like, we don't
It
talk
was
about
one
that
of
a
the
lot.
most difficult
Yeah.
experiences I've ever gone through in my whole life. And because she played such a big role day to day, I would talk to her for hours. We would hang out. We would see each other. It was this vacuum and this void that just appeared out of nowhere. And it was omnipresent, you know? And I would actually, there were times where I would be in the press and they would ask me, like, what's going on with you and Maris? And nothing had changed, but we had distance between us. And I felt like the temperature was coming down. And I would say, well, we're in a better place than we were
and
then.
I'd still
She
get
would get
mad. I would
upset.
still get mad. I would still get
She was
mad.
hurt, but
There was
everybody feels
nothing
the
you could
pain.
do.
But the
But
There's
most
nothing you could do
painful,
or
I
say.
think, was you have this huge life-changing experience, you have a baby, and then you not being
it
able to
was,
be there.
that was
That
awful.
that broke
It
me
was
too. I was
awful.
so sad. And how are your husbands, can they be around each other, or are we not there yet?
Yeah,
So the 4 of
we're
you
gonna
could
be
hang out?
there.
Like, you could come over with Adam to Tommy and MJ's
I would
house?
love to. And Tommy and like I have initiated communication with Tommy and he's been really receptive, which I've been really grateful for because also I want things to get to a better place. So when we're hanging out in group settings, everyone feels
Comfortable.
equally comfortable.
Because I was like, "I know these 2 deep down love each other, and this is
Right.
making me
And
so
if
upset."
you see me with her son now, like it's
Oh
so
my
much
god.
fun. Like we're in
Ah,
a pool and he interacts with me in a way that just
I
it
have to
fills
show you a
my
video.
heart. He jumps in the
Oh.
pool. He's like, "Take me here, catch me, do this, do that." Oh my god. I literally because of Shams, I literally needed a chiropractic treatment because mashallah, knock on wood, he's heavy-handed just like his
So cute.
mom, and he's very strong. And he's like, "Take me to the" we were at a friend's pool and they had a waterfall. And he's like, "Take me to the waterfall." "No, I don't want the waterfall. Catch me. No, let me hold your like he'd be literally around my neck and I would carry him in the pool to the waterfall, pull him out, pull him under. And by the time I got home that night, Leon, I was like
Oh,
this.
he needs a
I
Would
was
you
like,
ever have your own kids? Or you wanna be Uncle Reza?
I think I want to be Uncle
That's okay.
Reza.
Yeah, I'll never forget Oprah said she had somebody on, I forgot who she was interviewing, but she goes, "You know, it's really important you know who you are, right? With kids. You either really have to want to have kids. You either know that, hey, I love kids, but I'd rather be an aunt and uncle. I'd rather give them back after playing with them and not being able to move my neck for 3 hours, or I don't like kids at all." And she goes, all these 3 categories are perfectly fine, but don't go have a child if you're in the other 2 categories of aunt, or
Sure.
because it is a
Also,
full-time
shout out to
job.
my aunties. Some of my relationships with many of my aunties have been way more significant
Right.
in a positive way than my mom. Like,
Because
my
they're
mom is all the negative trauma that I've had
yeah.
from women, but my aunties had my back.
Well,
And
because
to
they're
this
also
day,
yeah, and they're not having to police you. They're
they're
just,
not,
Yeah,
they're
you
not,
I'm there
for
for
the good
you.
times.
Yeah.
they can
And
see you more and love you more unconditionally because they're not tying their own shit to you like my mom, does.
But now that I'm older, the one thing I do think about is like, what if I go before Adam? Then there's no one to take care of
Burbank.
Adam. And
Oh,
like,
Burbank.
not that you should have a kid so there's someone there to take care of you when you're old,
yeah.
but my dad had dementia and Alzheimer's and he suffered a lot at the end of his life. So I think about that and like end of life transition and like I just pray that God takes me quick and I don't have to
He's been
suffer.
putting that out there. You wanna make sure that if there was a special kind of DNR that you could be like, "If my quality of life is a wrap, then you could just," but you might not be doing a machine.
Bovila.
Okay.
Okay.
God, are you listening?
Yeah,
Okay.
So you have a book coming out?
I have a book coming
What's it
out.
called?
It's called Memoirs of a Gay Shah.
And is this it's amazing, right?
Woo!
What is this gonna entail in the book?
It's literally like from the minute I was born until current times.
And just like all the ins and outs, your thoughts.
All the ins and outs,
Is
my
anyone
thoughts.
gonna be pissed off after reading it?
Um, I
Who
honestly,
cares?
it's really much more about my favorite subject, aka me, and how the times where I am talking about other people, it's much more about like how I felt around those people. So I don't think anyone in my life is going to read the book and be angry or upset. It's much more about my experience and kind of like manifesting my own existence because the one thing I didn't talk about was when I was little, my mom would ask me like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I'd be like, "I want to be the king of Iran." Like if you ask like a little American kid, like, "What do you want to be?" They might say, "I want to be the president." But I wanted to be the king of Iran, and the monarchy was abolished, and the king is called the Shah. And how did this like little gay kid who's half Jewish, half Muslim manifest a show where he got to be a Shah? Like that is something I'm completely like proud of that I did that. Like I made that happen for
I love
myself in
that.
this
When is
world.
this book gonna come out?
It's gonna come out hopefully April of 2026.
Okay, and will it be like, can you pre-order? When
You
is it
can
gonna be available?
soon we're working on that right now. We're finalizing the font and working on the promotional stuff, but you will be able to pre-order it and there will be an audible version in my literal voice.
Oh,
Cuz
Of course.
when
amazing.
you read the book, it's going to sound like me talking.
Yeah.
I had an amazing ghostwriter who worked with me very closely and it sounds like I wrote this book. And so
Amazing.
listening to it,
Just
it'll
like
be,
Britney.
yeah, it'll be in
And
my
was
own
it
voice.
cathartic? Like, did it feel like so therapeutic to write this book?
The book was very therapeutic, and so was Shahs of Sunset. I do have to say, I went through a lot of difficult times. I talked to my dad while we were filming Shahs of Sunset, asking him why my Jewish grandmother, who kept kosher her whole life, why she didn't love me or want to have anything to do with me ever. Like, she never fucked with me my whole life. And I wanted to know. And I thought it was because I was gay. And he literally, during Shahs of Sunset, while we're filming, told me, he's like, no, bitch, she didn't want to fucks with you because you're not 100% Jewish. And I was
And your
like,
mama
wait,
ain't
what?
Jewish.
Like, I had no idea. So it was very, not only was writing the book super cathartic, but Shahs of Sunset was like one big therapy session where I got to heal and grow and look back and watch it and like let go of so many things that were very difficult. So although reality shows do nurture a lot of toxicity and people do get a lot of divorces and a lot of negative things happen, I do want to say that I was able to find a lot of gifts and a lot of growth during the
I love
process.
that because you also get to watch yourself back and your behavior, and you're like, okay,
And
right?
if you're self-aware, you can regulate and learn and grow.
I would like to start reframing the way people describe their experiences in reality TV being so negative because it allowed me to realize that I wanted to have a child. The experience, I was in Turkey when I had that awakening. We were in New York together when he had the one he just shared. There have been far more positive things that have taken place over the decade that we were on the air than the falling out with those,
Speaking of,
yeah.
we were in New York and I love to prank people. We were in New York. It was season 1 and we had this producer named Ben Daniels. Maris was out that night and her room looked like a disaster. So I texted, she had left her phone and she'd gone out. I texted Ben from her phone. I wrote, hey, can I get a bottle of tequila and a pregnancy test? Stat! Stat, it's an emergency.
That's so
The morning after.
embarrassing.
Poor Ben.
That's
Shout out to
really
him.
funny.
But yeah, we would love, I mean, we should start doing that again.
You
Oh
guys
my,
Pranking.
should. You
we
should start
literally,
pranking.
Let's get
I'm,
Jamie Kennedy and reboot his show.
Leon,
should
I
do-
made a
You
fake
guys should do one in Vegas.
Oh.
light
Oh.
bulb moment.
Good. But anyways, thank you so much for coming. I just want to say to both of you, because I watched Shaw's because I knew some of the people on the show and my friends are Persian. I was like, this is a fun reality show. Just getting to know you guys today. I think you've come such a long way. You've grown
Thank
up.
you.
You guys are both so self-aware. I love both of your hearts. I'm so happy that you guys have come back together. It's made me so happy. And
Same.
I think that people are going to learn a lot and they get to see you guys kind of grown up and really coming into yourselves. And I'm proud of both of you. So I'm
Thank you so
excited for
much.
both of your futures coming up. We'll see. But anyway, we're all three of us are going on the brand trip to Interior this weekend in Vegas.
Hey.
So wish us luck. It shall be a fun time. I'm sure we'll recap it when we get back. And
Everyone pack a hat that they don't plan on bringing home. That's my tip. That's my pro tip. Like a hat that
Okay.
it's going to get trashed at the pool.
okay.
It's going to get it's going to look like my basket.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right. Well, everybody go get Reza's book when it becomes available. I
Thank
can't
you
wait
so
to read
much.
it.
I'm going to be on that book tour with you, honey.
Hey.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for having me. This
Sure,
was
we'll
a
have you
real
back.
treat.
Yeah, it was
It
so
was like
fun.
just having conversations with two really good friends.
It was so
Exactly.
good because now viewers get to know you and your story, which I don't think a lot of people know. So
Thank you for that.
Definitely.
all right, guys, we'll see you next time on Heal to Feel.
Thank you for tuning in and listening to this week's episode of Heal to Feel. You can write in and ask your questions on our show's IG page at H2F Pod, and we'll address your questions on next week's episode. If this episode helped you, we would love for you to share it with your friends and family. Share the fun with all those that can benefit from a good laugh or cry with us. Please rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and we would greatly appreciate you.